Chelsea at Stitching in the Barn, and it is Monday the 13th of May, and it's a cold, dreary, wet, gloomy day, and we've had, 80-degree weather. I've planted all my flowers, and now I'm wearing wool again. But good news is we had our friends come from Vancouver. They were here with us Friday and Saturday, which were lovely sunny days, a little breezy, little bits of rain here and there, but we were able to get out and about and explore and have fun. And then when they had to leave on Sunday, it was rainy and yucky, so it was okay. They were like, okay, we're out of here. And my son is home from California very briefly before he has graduation next weekend. And my daughter's in the throes of AP exams. She's finished 3 of them, so things are busy around here. And I did not get this video up on Friday as I'd hoped, but here I am today with a hair in my face. I feel like... Anyway, I've been working on StitchMaynia. Even with company here, I'd sneak in a few little stitches here and there. And it's funny because somebody did comment, that they didn't really like StitchMaynia because they don't like seeing little tiny starts of everybody's things. They'd much rather see a hunk of progress, which I kind of understand. I do. It's still fun to see all the different patterns. I love seeing that. And so that's exciting and fun. And it is fun, even if you just get a couple stitches in, and it's that exhilarating feeling of, okay, the boat's launched, now we have to paddle to shore, so I do have them in order. I don't know why I put them in order because I'll probably mix them up. But I'm just going to quickly go through what I've been working on. First one I started with was Baby It's Cold Outside, Heartstring Samplery, which I've been wanting to do for ages. Beth Twist. And so many people said, yes, go ahead and change that barn if it's too pinky. Somebody said they used pomegranate all the way through and theirs was not pinky, it was red. It just shows you the difference in dye lots. But with mine, I'm definitely going to switch that out when I get, like this part is just too pink for me. I wanted to have a bit more of the barn red feel to it. So I might use barn door. Other people have made some other suggestions, which I'm going to try. So I'll have fun with that when I get back to it. And that I was doing on 36 count ale, 1/2. And really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. I hated to put it away. So that's the way I felt about all of these, truthfully. Oops, excuse me. I'm sitting in the dining room again, but it's just a different side, just to give you something else to look at. Just a different side of the dining room. Okay, number 2 was the little fairy little gnome, he's called. And he's coming along. And I have to say a word here because I think on some, he's done on Ada, and he was fun to stitch on the dark blue Ada, so I think if I attempt any of those chalkboard things, that's the way I'll go. And somebody had a little comment to me, and they said something about, oh, I'm sorry you don't like Ada, that's all I'm able to use. And I did not mean to disparage Ada in any way. I've stitched plenty of things that welcome Fracta that everybody comments on, that's on the other side of the dining room. I did that on Ada. I think it looks great. I do prefer things that are more sort of oldie, as Priscilla and Chelsea say, old and crusty, just because I live in this very old house and I love colonial history, and so I think I like Ada when it's dyed, like tea and coffee dyed. I prefer that to the bright white. But I did some of those Told in the Garden things years ago that I did on Ada, and I think they look great. I don't mind Ada at all. I did spend all that time in Scotland, so I'm a linen lover. I love to wear linen in the summer. I love linen sheets. So I do, my heart is with linen, but not for any other reason than I just love it. Nothing against Ada is what I'm trying to say. Okay, number 3 was knee-high. Knee-high. Knee-high on the 4th of July. Hands-on design. This reminds me of Ohio. I remember, I think Pretty Southern said she put an Ohio star up here to commemorate her time in Ohio. And I'm not sure if I'll cheat and do the same, you know, flattery is the, what is it? Imitation's the most sincere form of flattery. I may do that, or I may just leave it as charted because I think it looks cute like that. And I forget what that pattern's called, but I like that too. But I'm not sure. Oh, there they go, all flopping over. I got part of I'm not sure which is up and which is down, to be truthful. Let's see. I think it goes like this. I got part of the fence done, and I couldn't resist starting the quilty part of the flag, so that's fun. I can't wait to get back to that. Where am I putting these when I'm showing them to you? Over here. Okay. Oh, pause, please. Okay, I'm back. The next one is bird's eye view, and I have a feeling that I switched things up on you folks because I think I showed you different patterns than all the ones I did. I have this big basket with things that are kitted, and I think sometimes I pulled one out and I thought, oh yeah, I'll do this. And it wasn't one that I said I would plan to do. I don't think I talked about bird's eye view, but maybe I did. I'm so scatty, I can't remember. But anyway, this is a Kathy Barrick, and it's along the lines of it's not really fractor, but it has that wonderful sort of prim feeling to it. I love the big bird, I love the houses, I love the horse and the rabbit. So I got a teeny weeny start of a teeny weeny house. But that's okay. And let me see if I can tell you what I'm doing that on. I might be using the called for on that. I have some sort of, I probably have a notation somewhere. Hold on. Let me flip through my notes and see if I... Okay, this is 40 count buttercream lakeside linen. And a real pleasure to stitch on. Just lovely. It feels lovely in your hand. And again, you know, when my friends were here, I was wearing my contact lenses, so when I would stitch, I'd either have to wait until I took them out at night, or I would have to put on big magnifiers, because when I'm just doing this, I see 40 count quite well like that, so I prefer to wear these glasses, although I think they're getting really loose because I'm like whipping them on and off all the time. Oh well. What do they say? First world problems. Let's see. The next one, I know that bird's eye view was a substitution that I had not planned to do. The next one that I did was Coming to America, which was also a substitution, I believe. That is a Little House Needleworks. Maybe I did show this, but I love it. And I'm doing this on 32 count vintage Sahara Belfast linen. And this is the start. I had to start with the word Philadelphia, of course. But it does mention Baltimore, Boston, New York, and Philadelphia, but Philadelphia had to come first. That's that one. Next one was Frederica. And I think I had talked about, I'm going to stop saying whether I talked about it last video or not, because I really am confused. But this definitely has that fractor feel to it. And when I had talked about all the fractors I wanted to do this year, someone wrote to me and said, just be aware if you do Frederick, because there's a companion piece, Frederick and Frederica in DMC, it's not going to come out looking like the picture. But she did hers in DMC and said she loved the results anyway. So I think I'm just going to stick with that. I had kitted it all up. Excuse my voice. So that is on 40 count Pearled Barley by Lakeside Linen. And I got this much done. I got the wing started on the bird, on Frederica. So that's fun. that is Carriage House Samplings. And the next one was Plum Pudding by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. The two little mice in the kitchen. There's the plum pudding. I love this one. I have a little red-handled rolling pin I want to set out with this when I make it. But you know, the called for color for this is tomato red, and I started stitching with it and I thought, is that going to be too orangey for me? Would I rather be more traditional, the Christmas red and green? And then I thought, you know, it's got this little linen towel in here. It says flower. Or maybe it's a canister, but it reminded me of those French linen towels. And the stripe on those really is not always intensely red. It is kind of orangey red. And I thought I quite like the light green, and the orange has a more, maybe it's a sort of more contemporary kitchen Christmas feel. So I'm going to leave it as is. You know, if I find I really don't like it when I finish it, I will stitch it again and give this one away. But I think I'm going to like that a lot. And that was on 36 count Winter Brew. And this was my start. I've got part of the outline done and the little mouse's tail. The next one was, oh, this was funny. I have a new pen pal in Denmark, Karen. I don't know if you pronounce it Karen or Karen, but I'm thrilled to be corresponding, although I'm terrible and it's very sporadic. But anyway, hello. We decided we would encourage each other because she's been wanting to do this one as well. And I had supposedly signed up to do, Jen's Stitching Niche was encouraging a Brenda Gervais once a month, Brenda Gervais pattern, and got all excited and bought the linen and I forget what happened. I didn't get the threads or I didn't get the pattern or something for a while. So I kind of missed the boat on that. So I am doing that, and we started on Wednesday, and I had to frog and frog and frog and frog. It was going, ah! But eventually I got it right, I think. And I have a teeny weeny little start, which is the door of the house and some of the bricks. And this, my friends, is the one that's on 46 count Beach Walk. Something by the sea. Linen. Anyway, it has a lovely sort of pinky beachy tone to it. And I was very frustrated, but I mean, 46, yes, that's challenging, but I don't think it was the linen so much as just me not paying attention. I think I was trying to watch TV, if you can believe it. So poor old Karen got to hear me vent. And she said, oh, you know, maybe you would like to switch out the linen and try something less difficult. And I thought, I'm gonna stick with it. I'll just see how I go. You know, once I vented, I was okay. What was next? Oh, next was a fun little jump in the mix. Was Martha Washington. I can only show that briefly because that is in fact the pattern, but it's homespun sampler. And she really doesn't give you any instructions, so I'm doing it 1/2 mystery linen. And there's Martha. So that's not going to take too long. But I was confused because the colors they give you really don't correspond to the colors here. Like this really looks like a mustard yellow to me. And the colors they give, it's like a beige, sort of greenish beige. And then there's one that's slightly yellower beige. And I'm thinking, is that meant to be her skin tone? So I don't know whether I'm going to substitute something that has more of a peachy quality for her hands and her neck and her face. But not sure about that. I left that to do later, figure it out. And also, I guess this is just open space. Like there's no beige or cream or white in between the lines there. I will have to see how much floss I have. I think based on the amount of floss they gave, those are not meant to be filled in. It's just supposed to be the open work. I guess I'll find out. What came next? Oh, whoops. Next was the Wool and Flax Company, which I wasn't going to say it. I don't think I had planned to do this. But there it was in my basket, and it was all kitted up, and I thought, ooh, fun. Sheep, like them. I like the little shepherdess. And I got a tiny little start on what? The outline and the pink house. Probably meant to be like this. And this one I'm doing on, let's see if I wrote it down. I think I'm doing this on 36 count Wren, which is the called for. People who know fabric can probably say, no, that's not it. But I think that is. I think that was the Wren. And it's 1/2. Next came, all bundled up, the big old head, Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, the Snowman. I thought if I get him all outlined, I might take him with me to StitchCon and work on him there, because I could chat and fill in the white maybe. So here he is. He's got one arm and the bottom of his little body. So that's going to be fun. And that was on, smells tea and coffee dyed. Winter Brew by R&R, 36 count, 1/2. So that's the called for. I don't always go with the called for fabric because, you know, sometimes I would go to my L&S and they wouldn't have it, so I just picked something that I liked that was sort of an equivalent, or sometimes it wouldn't look like the picture, so I'd switch it out, but a surprising number of these are actually the called for linen, so we'll go with that. Next, and I know this was not in the mix, was Plum Street Samplers, Penny Autumn. This is like a whole new StitchMaynia plan show, because so many of them were not ones I was going to do. Oops. I have started, let me think how this goes. This much. Here come the pennies for the penny rug. That go around go alongside the bottom and the sides, and then there's the White House in the middle. So that's coming, and it has these stars as well. So I'm excited to do that. And this is on 36 count Wren, Edinburgh linen, which is the called for colors, and it's 1 strand over 2. Again, I'm really enjoying them. I have a lot of Brenda Gervais and I have a lot of Paulette Stewart patterns, and I have quite a lot of Beth Twist as well, but I didn't seem to throw those in. And the final one I started, it is day 13, and I couldn't resist. This was a switch out as well, I think. 13 Colonies, Little House Needleworks. This I am doing on 32 count navy bean linen, which is the called for color, Lakeside Linens. And I'm doing it 2/2, and I have only done this much. Started the outline, and then started, there's 2 outlines, because there's this sort of vine that goes around. And then there's also, yes, the vine that goes around. And then there's also an outline here. And I knew I hadn't fully kitted this because when I grabbed it up and started stitching, it calls for some fancy floss, but then it also calls for the DMC, and I hadn't pulled those. So I was only able to work on, like I was going to start in the center or do something else, but I had to start with the outline because I had those colors in the bag. But so there we have it, 13 for 13 days. Now here are my thoughts. I think StitchMaynia is fabulous for getting you going. Like I said, there's so many of these things that for some odd reason I had, and I really loved the look of them and couldn't wait to start them and just didn't start them. So I think it has really jump-started my doing of projects. But I also feel like you get into it and you really enjoy it and you want to keep going, at least 2 days worth. So I'm thinking, and I'm not sure if I'm going to implement this policy now or wait until next year, but I'm thinking next year of picking 15 starts, because that way you could either work on it one day and switch each day for 15 days and then go back and repeat the rotation so you get in 2 days for each one, or just do 2 days for each project and do 30, and then you could pick a whip or something else for day 31. But yeah, that's sort of the way I'm leaning, that one day is not enough. It's like one potato chip. You can't have just one. So, and in looking through all these things, I realized that Teresa Kogut is not represented here, which is a shame because I absolutely love her patterns. And I happen to have, for next week's giveaway, I'm not always going to have giveaways, but I just happen to be so lucky that my friends donated these patterns. So I have a Teresa Kogut pattern that I can give away. And this was donated by Carolyn of Just Cross Stitch. And it is called Early American Folk Art, or Early American Folk Art Sheep. So this is the pattern I'm going to give away for next week. And I just think that's wonderful. I love that. So Teresa, I'm sorry I didn't pick any of your patterns for my StitchMaynia. I think I have a lot of them that are not totally fully kitted up yet. Nearly like I'm missing a thread here or a thread there or something, and so they didn't make it into StitchMaynia, but I have plenty of your patterns waiting to go, believe me. I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but on one of her videos, she showed a glimpse of her sketchbook, which I was so thrilled to see that, because you can see her artist mind at work. Like, first she showed you like the germination of an idea, and then it evolves into something else, and then she shows you a more fully fleshed out sketch, and then more detailed beyond that, and then a painting, and then that evolved into a punch needle or a cross stitch pattern or something. I just love seeing that, the way an artist's mind works, or how an idea evolves. I just thought that was fantastic, and I'm so happy she showed that and shared some of the creative process with us. I have some other things to talk about. First thing I'll say is project bags. I have quite a lot of project bags. You may have seen a bunch of these cheapy clear bags, and also Ziploc bags. I use those too. But I do have some very nice project bags. The first one I will show you is one I made myself, and it's following Vonna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitchers pattern. Vonna's really who got me into watching Flosstube, and extraordinary gifts, extraordinary talent, and love you, Vonna. She gives away all her secrets and information for free. And so this was a pattern she has on her blog. Wonderful sort of padded bags. And I made a bunch of them, and I love them. And I had one at work one day, and this woman goes, "Oh, is that a computer bag? And I said, no, but it could be, you know, because you can slip your little laptop in there. I mean, these are just great. So I love these. I have bought quite a lot of Made by Mama Joan bags, which I also love. I have one right here to show you. You know, she's part of the Joan and Kelly show, and she makes these wonderful bags that are vinyl fronted, which I will say I do think I like having the vinyl front because you can see exactly what's in there and grab it. Very nice quality. She usually puts a little ribbon on here, but I think I've lost the little ribbon, but you know, nice zipper, nice quality vinyl. I did go buy a big roll of vinyl to try and make some myself, and it still sits in my sewing area. It has not been opened. So one day, someday, I will try making my own vinyl fronted bags. Just recently, I discovered Created to Create BH. I think Priscilla and Chelsea talked about them. And I got some very pretty bags from her. They feel really nice, nice fabrics. The vinyl is slightly lighter weight. They're slightly less expensive than Made by Mama Joan bags, but I think they'll last fine. They seem very nice. Have a very cute little pull on the zipper, which I love. So I'm very happy with those. I did buy a couple Diddly Daddle design bags. Before Christmas, I got some Christmas pattern ones. And these are great because they are, I don't know if they're kind of pleated at the bottom. They just seem bigger. Like they hold, it's easy. I think maybe because the zip goes across the top. Maybe that's what it is. And she always does very cute little, on the zipper pull, she makes covered buttons and fussy cuts the fabric. So you get a beautiful little thing on your zipper pull, beautiful little scene on your zipper pull. And so for slightly bigger projects, I use those. Well, I have a new discovery. My friend Leanne, who is known to you at Lost in Floss, made some project bags, and I am usually the last person. If somebody says, "Ooh, I'm going to post this on Instagram," and you got to be quick and you got to get there, and you know, Friday at noon, I will set an alarm and then I will totally forget. You know, we've been so busy. I haven't been going on Facebook. I haven't been going on Instagram. I happened to be flicking through my phone something, and she said, "I have some project bags I'm posting," and I thought, ooh. So I went and had a look, and I got the most beautiful project bags. I just think she's fantastic. They are beautiful. The fabric is fantastic. The weight of the vinyl is really nice. The zipper is really nice, and they're impeccably made. They're just lovely. And I got 2 of them in patterns that I just thought were so pretty. And so I am thrilled to have those, Leanne, and thank you very much. And speaking of things I am thrilled to have, you know, I have had some very nice notes from people that I am remiss in not showing you because they're often on beautiful cards, you know, sampler cards or things like that. And I'll have to go through my little book where I keep things and show them to you, even though I received them quite a long time ago. But what I'm going to show you today, I was just thrilled to get. I have to tell you that Daleen was the first person who ever commented on one of my videos, and she has a Flosstube channel called So Grateful. I think a lot of you watch her now because she's such a gracious spirit. She's just lovely and very, very talented. And boy, oh boy, talk about creativity. She sent me a little note and she said, "Oh, Valerie, you know, can I have your address? I want to send you something." And I said, "Oh, sure," you know, and I was thinking, oh, she's going to send me a nice card or something. And then this package arrived and I could smell something. I was like, ooh, something delicious is in this package. And I opened it up and I thought, oh, she sent me this nice scented note. It smells so good. And then I opened it up, very, very sweet note, and look at this card. this card she made herself. It is a cross stitch that she did. And then she took a photograph of it and made it into a card. Isn't that clever? I just thought, oh, wow. And in the note she says, I thought you might be able to use some lavender for that one StitchMaynia piece you're going to do. Because I was saying that in one of my StitchMaynia plans, it was a little kit from the British Museum or something that my sister-in-law had given me, and it was so many years ago that the lavender had gone dry, and so you couldn't smell lavender anymore. And I thought, oh, she sent me some lavender, that's so kind. And I reached in the bag and I found this fabulous lavender. And I was saying to my husband, isn't that so nice? This really kind person has gone to all this trouble. She's made me this beautiful card and sent me this lovely note and sent me lavender for me to make I was just overwhelmed. And he picked up the bag and he goes, there's something else. Look what she made me. I am just so thrilled. It smells so good. It's filled with lavender and it's beautiful. And I don't know if you've watched my earlier videos, but I said I have a thing for acorns. So look what she's put at the top. Isn't that the most precious thing? I just think that's so gorgeous. It's got this little tassel. It's got this beautiful little ribbon. It's beautifully stitched with my initial. I just am so thrilled to have this. I can't even tell you. Thank you, Daleen. You're so sweet. And I will cherish this. So thank you so much. And someone else can be the lucky recipient of some delicious lavender, because I think I'm going to stick that into my StitchCon trade. What do they call it? Smalls exchange. So that brings me to the winner of last week's giveaway, which was this pattern, kindly donated by Lila, or Lila of Lila's Studio. The Bee Comes, it was called. And the question had been, do you eat honeycomb? And I found out some people do. Mostly, you know, they've tried it and weren't so crazy about it. But some people said yes, they'd put a little bit on toast, or some people sort of chew on it like chewing gum and then spit it out as soon as all the honey's gone. Most people like honey anyway, but not necessarily the comb, which is fine. I was just curious. It was just for fun. But the winner of this pattern is K Hayes. K, the letter, Hayes 9591. So K Hayes, congratulations. And could you please get in touch with me within the week, and I will pop this in the mail to you, and congratulations and happy stitching. I will put my email address in the description box below, or reach out on Instagram. What am I on Instagram? I am lifejottingsfromarmadalefarm, I think. And for the next giveaway, let's think of a good question. Oh, Teresa Kogut often does punch needle designs. And so for my question for the pattern for next week, it's going to be, have you ever done punch needle? Do you enjoy doing punch needle as well as cross stitch? This is a cross stitch design, but I'm not sure if this one's available as punch needle as well. But that's the question. So if you could leave a comment below, it'd be nice if you'd like the video, and subscribe is always nice. And in the comments, don't say giveaway, don't say free, don't say contest. Just put something about punch needle, whether you've ever tried it or whether you enjoy it. Just fun to know. It's fun because I get to read all these comments. I have to tell you, I read all the comments this past week. I didn't respond to any of them. I might have given somebody a thumbs up or something, but I was just crazy, flat out getting ready for my son to come home, and for these friends to arrive, and figuring out what we were going to do with them, and worrying about the weather, and what adventures we would like to take them on, and that kind of thing, planning all that, and getting groceries and cleaning the house. Not my favorite thing. So we had a great time, and but I'm afraid I did not have time to comment on your comments, but I will go through and say hi to everybody this week. Hopefully things will slow down for a little bit. We'll see. Going forward, I still haven't decided. I have all those other patterns that I showed that I wanted to get a start on, which I think I'm leaning towards just working my way through, but you'll have to wait till next week and see whether I go back and work some more on the ones I've started, or whether I start all new things. The other thing is that I was going great guns on my StitchCon exchange piece. And of course I set that aside to do the StitchMaynia. So I'm thinking, I really I'd better make sure that's finished, because I'm going to attempt to fully finish it myself, which I've never done before. And so I want to have time to try and do a good job. So that's it. If I think of anything else, I'll pop on and say. But otherwise, I hope everybody had a lovely Mother's Day. I hope you're all having better weather than we're having. I hope you're having fun with your stitching, whether you're doing StitchMaynia or not. And until next time, all good things. Bye.